Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. My name's Mr. Feudal. Welcome to another guide on Gloria Victis. Today, we're going to be taking a look at farming. Today, we're going to be looking at where you can farm, what you can farm, how to farm, and when to gather. Starting off on where you can plant your crops, you want to find icons such as these. These are the farm icons. Now, if you're in Midland, you're going to find them in red. If you're in Sangmar, you're going to find them in yellow. If you're in Izmir, you're going to find them in blue. You want to go to one of these locations and you want to start farming there. Now, when you fast travel there, you will find plots such as this. This is fertile ground, and this is where you will plant your crops. Next, what can you farm? Well, it just so happens that I have just about every single plant or every single seed in the game. We have cypress, parsnips, flowering plants, flax, well, that's an important one, keep an eye on this, fruit plants, onion seeds, we have lemon balm, we have root plant, we have yarrow, we have hops, especially in the case of brewing beer or essentially making any sort of alcohol. Herb seeds, carrot seeds, rue, we have leaf plants, garlic, hemp seeds, and arnica. These are all the types of plants that you can plant here in these fertile lands. Now we come to how to farm. Once you're standing on the fertile plot, what you want to do is you want to attach any of the seeds to your hotbar. As you can see, I have flax, fruit, onions, carrots, and parsnip. So, I'm going to press number 3 for some flax, and appears a little white kind of highlight of where you're going to plant your crops. Either press E or left click, let the progress bar finish. Once you do this, you have 60 seconds to water this, so make sure you water it as fast as possible. It then will turn a nice solid soil brown colour, and you'll have the start point of your planted crops. For each different type of crop though, it'll be different sizes. So for the fruit, we're going to do this one. Next, we're going to do the onions. So again, remember, water it within 60 seconds, otherwise it will disappear. Number 5. This is our onions. We're going to water this quickly. Number 6. This is our carrots. Again, water it very quickly. And number 7. This is our parsnips. Now you'll notice that they have all turned that kind of same colour right here, but some of them have changed to that kind of dried out look. You'll be given an identifier of water land within X amount of minutes. So what we're going to do is we're going to quickly water this. We'll quickly water these ones as well. And these ones here as well. And of course, these ones too. Now you'll also notice that these have started to sprout weeds. So what you want to do is you want to hover over it, press E. And there you go. Now the best thing about this is when you get rid of any sort of weeds, you get yourself some fishing bait as well. Now the next thing that I'm going to show you is to cut down the time in which this matures in. So what you need for this is a whole bunch of fertilizer. Now, the way to get fertilizer is essentially just let food rot in your inventory or in your depot. You can do the same thing with corpses as well, like wolf corpses, boars, bears, that kind of thing. With it inside your inventory, walk over and press E. You will fertilize the crops. Look away and look back again. We have cut it down by at least 5 minutes. And there we go, ladies and gentlemen. That was at 24 minutes, now it's down to 17 minutes. Over here with our fruit plant, we're down to 9 minutes. Over here, we've got the same 9 minutes, 9 minutes, and 9 minutes here. Because the flax is such a large field, it's such a large planted crop, it does take a longer period of time to grow. So, when it comes to the important crops, in my opinion, what you want to be looking for is potentially hemp seeds, flax seeds, and anything to do with brewing, so hop seeds. I'll show you what hop seeds look like. There we go. We're going to water these and immediately fertilize them. So this is what I like to do. What I like to do, and oh, I should also note this as well. This is a very important factor. Per farm, per fertile plot here, you're only allowed a maximum of 20 planted crops. That can be 20 flax, that can be 20 carrots, that can be 20 hops, etc. So long as it is 20 of a planted crop that you own. So you could do 10 flax, 10 hops, you could do 5 hops, 5 flax, and 10 parsnips. So long as it rounds up to 20, that's the amount that you're allowed per farm. Now, I have seen a few folk do this very late at night, and this is something they need to watch out for. If you go to one farm and then go to another, you can plant another 20 at this field here. However, what you need to remember is, if you are planting here, and they pop and they sprout and they're nice and mature and they're ready to be gathered, if you leave them for too long, your faction can come over and steal them. Enemy factions, however, cannot steal them, regardless if they claim the castle or the village. It doesn't matter. It essentially destroys the crop. It's only your team, only if you're a Midlander and you're planting Midlander crops, it's only Midlanders that can steal them. Same with Sangmar, same with the Izmirs as well. So, this is one thing to watch out for. What I'm going to do is I'm going to let these pop, I'm going to let these all flower, and I'll be back in just a moment. I should also mention that the way that you get water is essentially through a well. All you have to do is click E on it, and you'll gather 15 buckets every action. This is an unlimited supply, so just as long as you're gathering it, the better. Aim for about 100 or so, because you're going to be farming quite a lot, especially if you're going to get into tailoring. So remember what I said about when your crops become mature. You can see there on the third line, protected for 30 minutes. This means I have 30 minutes of a window where this is completely off limits to my faction. After 30 minutes, these are free game. Now, this is the part where I show you how to gather your crops. When you're gathering your crops, what you want to do is attach a sickle. A sickle is a very quick and efficient way to gather your crops. You can use your hands, you can use your weapons, you can use all that stuff, but it's a lot slower and it's a lot less efficient. So, let's start with our parsnips. There we go, we got 7. We got 7 carrots in 1 seed, 7 onions, and 15 herb fruits. Now we're going to wait on the flax and the hops, and we're going to see what happens when these flower. Now, whilst the crops are growing, I'm going to introduce you to the barn manager. The barn manager is, well, before we start actually, there is a barn manager at every single farm, okay? So if you want to get animal products, what you want to do is press E on him. Yes, I'd like to use the barn. I currently have a goat and a cow and a sheep. The goat and the cow produce milk, and the sheep produces wool. However, you can choose from another cow, another goat. These two produce milk, the sheep produces wool, the pig produces both pork and exquisite meat, and you've also got the option of a chicken. So I'm going to choose a chicken. So 5 silver got me a chicken. Time until next gathering is 3 hours, okay? If you want to call the goat or the sheep or the cow in order to gather the materials from them, what you want to do is you want to click call. You want to press E to repel insects, basically clean the animal. And then we want to gather materials, and we're given a small mini game right here. So we've got an interaction in progress, so you've got a set amount of time. So you need to make sure you can speed this straight up. Go through the minigame, and every time you do this, you're getting a little bowl of milk. Oh! You only get 3 tries, unfortunately. Now, you can feed them with animal fodder, but I don't have any animal fodder on me, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the barn, and I'm going to return to the barn, just like you do with your horse. Same with our... let's go for the goat. So, let's clean the goat. And then, let's gather materials. So you get 3 attempts here, in case you miss the udder. Unfortunately, this is actually penalising us a little bit. It's a very slow draw. There we go. Speed everything up. There we go, we got them. Again, we can feed them, however, I don't have any animal fodder with me, so they are going to get recalled. Now, the sheep minigame is really, I find it quite difficult. I'm going to call it, I'm going to show you what you have to do. You're going to have to use your G, H, and J, Golf, Hotel, and Juliet keys. So we're going to clean them, and then I'm going to show you how this works. Right, here we go. Gather materials. There we go. Oh, repel insects, we can't do that. So let's just call it back in again. Return to the barn. And there's my wool, there's my milk, and you can see the quality of it is 7.45. Now you can obviously use this in conjunction with other materials when you're going to go cook your meals, and you can get a much higher quality. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. If you want to use the barn manager is at every single farm, and you'll be able to get yourself a chicken, a goat, a sheep, a cow, or a pig. And just like that, ladies and gentlemen, our flax and our hops are ready to gather with our sickle attached. 39 hops and 1 seed back, which is good. 20 bundles of flax, and that is how you farm, ladies and gentlemen. A little bit of additional information for you. If you are going to farm in this game and you want to use just simply these farms, that's perfectly acceptable, that's perfectly fine. However, if you head to Hodron Temple, or if you head to Lordly Haven, or even Lord's Wrath Abbey, you will be given bonuses, but you'll be given even better bonuses if you find yourselves in one of the guild-controlled castles, like, for example, Norfolk, Aquitania, Fort Greatfall, Castle Udenstead, Lublin Fort, and Skergard. You'll be given much better rates, because it says right here, specialization, high quality fields, plants grown here have a higher yield. You'll also be given better quality plants as well, so that's one thing to note. But if you just want to use these little farms right here, that's perfectly acceptable as well. It just means you're going to have to plant a lot. You'll probably have to plant 20 here in order to get like maybe 5 or 10 right here, or something along those lines. I think it's double the output, so you'll get 40 flax from the kind of fort locations in the centre. Don't be afraid of this, by the way. I've got a little tip for you when you go into these loot locations if you want to do any sort of farming. If you're going to take, for example, if you're going to take flax with you, for example, take 20 of it and take 20 fertilizer and as much water as you can possibly hold. It can be 20, it can be 40, it can be 60, it can be 100. And go in light gear, go in gear that you're not afraid of losing. You don't have to really take a weapon with you, but take like a sickle, a spare sickle, like have 2 sickles, one that you use maybe in the non-loot zone and one that you can use in the loot zone. For example, you could probably use the apprentices one inside the loot zone and use the journeyman's one on outside of the loot zone. These are just things to consider, but that has been farming, ladies and gentlemen, and a little bit of a brief overview on the barn. I hope it helped. If it has, leave a thumbs up on the video. Tell me what you think in the comments below. And if you want to stick around for more Gloria Victis videos, consider subscribing, ring the little bell and select all on the notifications. You'll be updated with the latest upload on the channel. And if you want to support me just a little bit further, ladies and gentlemen, consider clicking that join button, become a YouTube member. You'll be given these videos early access before anybody else, your own member style videos, benefits through the live stream, and discounts on the merch store. If that sounds all cool to you, hit that button, hit that join button, and sign up onto this channel, ladies and gentlemen. Any and all existing members, thank you very much for your generosity and your support. It means quite a deal to me. Anyway, folks, if you want to see any more guides from myself, you want to see any more guides on logging, on mining, on any of the world events, on sieges, or anything of the sort inside the loot zone as well, I've also got some PvP builds that I'm working on right now. These are old style PvP builds that still function and still work very well. So if you want to see those, let me know in the comments, folks. Anyway, folks, thank you very much for watching today. If it helped, like I said, I'm glad to help. Anyway, folks, I'll see you all another time. I've been Mr. Feudal. Catch you later.